Welcome to Audrey's World. I'm your host, Audrey Oyer. You may be wondering, what is this podcast all about? Why is it called Audrey's World? Like, who do you think you are? Great question. Audrey's World is an interview-based podcast with various people in my life, and you get an opportunity to get to know them, to hear a little bit about how we know each other, how we're connected, and learn some things about them that maybe I don't even know, which is so fun to get to dig in a little bit deeper and just kind of have that one-on-one conversation with a loved one. Every episode in the podcast, I love to ask people what their ideal world is, because there's no better way to get to know someone than by knowing how their most ideal state operates. And it's not a bad time to learn that, because let's be honest, I think, the way things are going right now, it's not super ideal. So could be a great time just to fantasize, to get out of the day to day and just dream up something that sounds a little bit more magical, or something that just sounds a little bit more, great. So that's exactly what I do. This week on the pod, you get to meet my good friend, Matt. He is the first man on Audrey's World, so he's a good one if if I'm inviting him on the pod. And I can't wait for you to learn about him, get to know him, and hear a little bit about some of our fun times together. So without further ado, he's the first man on Audrey's World, a PR and advertising legend, the person in inflatable costume, a mini mic, just any prop really hates to see coming. The person who will put a smile on everyone's face and make them giggle. It's Matt Woolf. Matt, you're in your new place. How does it feel? What's going on? Tell me more.
Well, it's great. It's definitely weird living alone again, I think. I have to remind myself, like, not having someone there constantly to yap all the time. I've been calling everybody. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
everyone's gonna block my number, but
Yeah.
well, doing the dishes by myself, like, woo!
Yeah.
But other than that, it's great. I have a bathtub again. I'm on the
Love.
ninth floor, so you can kind of see the city.
Mm.
The lights said Wrigley that never turn off, and
Oh.
the sun, golden hour right now, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, so that's what you review it. It's more like you see like the Wrigley side of things and
yeah,
stuff.
so through like these is north facing.
Ah,
And those you can kind of see the other tower, and then if I face east, so out my bedroom, I can see the lake.
oh,
But
good.
then this way behind the camera is all of Wrigley and like west facing. There's no obstruction, which is cool, so the
Yeah.
sunlight,
Look at
love it.
you. Glowing in your new space. It is weird rooming alone, but now I've been doing it. I'm on year 4, and I'm terrified for, God forbid, there's some like boyfriend in the future that I move in with, because I need like not so much alone time, but I would consider myself very extroverted, where I get energy from other people. And now I'm like, oh my God, it's been a full day of socializing. I really need my TikTok time. So I think that's what living alone did to me.
No, definitely. I think being able to come home from the bar and like not have to be quiet and like immediately make pizza rolls and lay sprawled on my couch.
Mhm.
It's been great. So, no
Big,
complaints here. It's
big pro.
also a condo building, so there's a lot of older people here in Lakeview East, which I actually love. So
Hmm.
they send me a little bit. I'm used to like
Yeah.
being in buildings where no one really talks to you. I think
Hmm.
I've met like 15 people so far.
Oh shit.
It's fascinating. We'll be in the elevator and you get like a hi, young man. Hello. You know where
Hey,
they
do you say hey, oldie?
not yet. Maybe eventually. No, it's so good though. I mean, it just is a different vibe. So
Yeah.
I'm embracing it, enjoying it.
Love it. It's May, which is crazy. I can't believe it. So it's pretty much summer and Chicago summer. I mean, I feel like us Gwens, we have some ideas, some plans, some things we want to do, but what is your summer looking like?
You know, the more I think about it, the more stressed out I get because I feel
Yeah.
like summer is one of those times where like I am such a yes man and I need to be
Mm.
a no man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to budget a little bit more smart this summer. So
Yeah.
we're taking hot girl summer and hot gay summer and we're making it hot responsible summer.
Yeah.
We'll see
Hot
how
budgeted summer.
to girl summer. So I'm going to Fire Island in June.
Love. Oh, you're going to have a blast.
Yep, my really good friend Ron, his birthday, and my friend Becca, her birthday, they're both in the same time frame. So we usually travel to New York City for theirs, and they come to Chicago for my best friend Nyla and I's birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, the squad is going to Fire Island. I'm scared for us, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's probably the biggest trip coming up this summer. What do you have going on?
Well, I can't wait to hear all the stories about it and can't wait to just live through you. I have some weddings in June. I feel like from now till the end of June, I'm pretty not like busy every weekend, but quite a few plans here and there. Well, I'm going to LA next weekend, so
Wow.
that's kind of fun. That's huge. And then yeah, two weddings, one in Charleston, one in Cleveland. But then after that, like a family reunion or a little thing here and there, but definitely have room in the schedule to get some more things going. So I'm
Oh,
excited
good.
that I don't feel like my entire summer's already booked because I feel like that happens a lot.
No, I'm in the same boat. I was kind of looking at my weekends and like trying to sneak in extra PTO days where I could fit them on the schedule, and I was like,
Hmm.
wait, I'm just off that weekend? I'm going to a wedding in July that's actually at Indiana University, like on campus. And so I'm really
Oh,
stoked about
fun.
that. A ton of my college
Wait,
friends.
didn't you have one a few months ago, or is this the one that you've been looking forward to that you've been talking about?
So I did have a wedding a few months ago, but that was in Indianapolis. And then this
Okay.
thing is the one I've been talking a bit about it. It's just they just planned it such an interesting way and it's like all our
Mm.
favorite spots from school.
Yeah.
From Bloomington and her fiance. They met at IU. We're all in the same business fraternity, so I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh my God.
We're going for I think 3 or 4 nights, so
That'll
that's
be
probably
so
my
fun.
next biggest plan, other than like Lollapalooza. I forgot to talk
Yeah.
about Lollapalooza.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
very excited for that too.
There's a great lineup this year.
Definitely. I am still not sure who all I'm even most excited about seeing. I'm like
Yeah.
stressed out looking at it, but I just did a 4 day and the
Too many
5
options.
and I just end up wherever.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Matt, though, I feel like that's your vibe. Like, you're just like, okay, I have tickets, I'll just figure it out. And it's the best, though. Like, you always figure it out, you always end up having a good time. Do you feel like you just have good luck, or is that intentional? Take
You
me in your
know,
mind.
I think the older I've gotten, the more laissez-faire I've become
Mm,
about my Lollapalooza trips and knowing that like no matter what, I'm usually gonna have a good time as long as you pace yourself with the alcohol. Don't let the sun get you. Like been there before. And I think the other piece that comes with maybe a little more financial security too is having the ability to leave early if I want to too. And I don't
fair.
feel like I have to get there at noon for the start.
Mm-hmm.
I work in advertising, so I do like to get there early at least one day to go look at all the brand activations and see who slayed, who didn't, kind of going on with those. But beyond that, I feel like the flexibility now to just show up at 5, enjoy the sets I want to see, maybe be on
Yeah.
the train home at 9, crazy,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and knowing all the tips and tricks to kind of get your way home without getting absolutely bogged down by the
Yeah.
massive crowds.
Yeah. Yeah. The tips and tricks we didn't know we needed. But I agree. I feel like as I get older with a lot of things, even just going out, the financial security or like what I feel a little bit more secure just like saying no to or eh, I'm not going I can have two drinks tonight and I'll be have more fun than if I had, whatever, or leaving a drink with a bit on the bottom like Audrey 6 years ago would be like, no, 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 you can't do that. So those small things I do feel like are signs of aging, but but like feeling more secure in yourself or like just like knowing you a little bit more.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I'm still working on the go home early one
Yeah.
in the bar. I think Post Town has a hold on me, but definitely feel like I don't have to be in the clean play club.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can go to dinner and we don't have to finish it all, and it's not the end of the world. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
enjoying the subtle aging pieces.
Well, and you still have a few years to catch up to where I am now, so who knows, you'll see. Matt, I cannot remember if our first meeting or our first few meetings what the actual timeline is. So, was it my Halloween party, then Gwen Gala, then my birthday party, or was it Gwen Gala, I feel like it's Halloween first and then Gwen, then birthday.
Would it have been Halloween, then a couple months where I probably didn't see you? Because in like 6 months almost, then Gwyn Gala. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
because we had met before the Gwyn
Yeah.
Gala. Because, but I'm wondering, like, no, yeah, I think it's that.
That's what I think so too. And guys, Matt was iconic. He showed up in an inflatable pig costume the first time we met. An inflatable costume, a mini mic, any prop hates to see Matt coming.
I know it's terrible. I competed in a friend's beer Olympics this past weekend, and I'm on the phone and we're trying to come up for props to be Team Canada.
Mhm.
And we're just coming up with all these ideas of like what we can be and
Oh
like
my God.
different, but we're like we're gonna be Team Canada, and everyone's like, well, you've got to have something. And I actually my Halloween box is in Indianapolis right now. It's the first time in my life I haven't been able to let up out a wig and some
Yeah.
red mask costume from
Hmm.
5 years ago, and I was like, oh, this is devastating. I have to get that box back. So
Yeah.
crazy. But
Yeah.
the pig costume, a classic. I think it really kicked off my trend of inflatable costumes.
Yeah.
I feel like one a year now has to be rotated in. You know, it's a
Hmm.
three costume minimum. Gay Christmas. I love Halloween.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
we had the pink pony this past
Yep.
year.
Or like unicorn, pink pony, both?
Yeah, unicorn pink pony thing. I
Yeah.
remember. I think it was like a combo. And then
Hmm.
this year we'll really see what the vibes give. I'm not sure yet.
We have some planning to do. I mean, you have a ways away, but I saw a few people already know what I'm doing for Halloween, like Katy Perry in space with like the daisy. People were saying they would do that. And I'm like, shit, there's honestly so much that's happened in the last 2 months that really are already so Halloween worthy. So yeah, you'll have some time for the inflatable of it
Definitely
all.
will have some good content.
Yeah, I feel like any party, if you don't have a prop, it's maybe not really a party, or if a prop doesn't come along the way. So, also within those first three meetings that Matt and I had, he came through with a sweet little Brenda. I have her with me. She was here for my birthday, so she's living with me. We'll see. Will and I trade her off, but Brenda, Matt, how would you describe Brenda? And let's share her origin story.
Yeah, absolutely. Brenda, she's a baddie,
She's our mascot, our
Absolutely.
like friend group mascot, like
Yep.
unofficial and child.
hmm Yep, all the above. She's a little battered, not by us. She
No.
came to us this way, unfortunately. We rehabbed her and got her a loving family. She might have been born in the sidetrack bathroom. We're not sure. We're not sure.
Hmm.
Um, we found her abandoned on the rooftop of sidetrack one day, and yeah, we just started bringing her around everywhere.
Yeah.
She frequently lives with our girl Melissa, but
Hmm.
occasionally goes on little jaunts and new vacations outside of the home.
Hmm. She likes a good day trip or like a weekend trip,
Absolutely.
but
She
mhm,
loves a dirty martini too, for sure.
loves, loves. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Brenda, she has like marker. I'm looking at her now. Marker on her face and on her chest. So definitely like giving the battered vibes. She's a mermaid. So she's a soft Barbie with a mermaid tail that the mermaid tail has been sewn on in some places to try to just, be there still. Her hair's in space buns. She has a tiara and she does have some bruising on her back as well.
Might be blood. Not
She's been
sure.
washed several times, and because she's a mermaid, she's been in Lake Michigan a few times as well.
I did throw her in Lake Michigan.
We had to see what she could do.
We were sending her home.
Yeah, yeah, and then she came back to us. But we love her with all of our heart. We joke that there's a custody battle for her, even though, so we have to
I've
prove,
lost.
yeah, yeah, Matt.
We haven't had it yet, but I've lost.
Yeah. Well, but you were her founder, so I don't know. You get some big props for that.
It's true, it's true. I braided her hair a couple
Hmm.
times. We got the rat's nest out, so
Hmm.
she's
Hmm.
she's on her way up.
Yeah, she's slowly but surely really forming into a beautiful woman, a beautiful mermaid.
She's actually going to be featured on season 2 of H2O, the TikTok
Love it.
version. So it's
Love it.
crazy. Everybody keep an eye out.
Brenda's version. I love it. Another incredible prop from Matt's side of things, a mini mic. Matt at Ben's birthday party brought a mini mic and
Hmm. I think we're
but
we're one mic down, but
mm, hate to see that. It was inevitable, but I feel like you really see someone's true colors with the microphone. And Matt is great and sad because in advertising because he can make us believe just about anything, especially put a microphone in his hand. I think I think we believe every word that he says, and maybe we shouldn't, but we really do.
yeah, unfortunately, a mini mic hates to see me coming. I think
Yeah,
my friends might turn the other way if they see me pop up with it, but I think it's in my backpack actually, crazy enough. It's made its way out of Chicago. It's been to my friend Presley's wedding in Denver. It's
love,
all the way actually up into the mountains in Boulder. Featured in the streets of the city.
love.
Been many a times to sidetrack. I think that's our funniest one. Oof. It's seen its days.
Yeah. Yeah. Depending on the vibes, however many drinks, whatever scandal we want to sell to strangers, we can really get going.
Absolutely. I mean, it's tough when one of your friends just loves twinks.
Yeah, it's really
Terrible.
tough. We just want to support their love, make it known.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Sidetracks, we really did some damage with the mic, but we love a microphone. Like, I don't know, sorry.
No, literally. I think a mini mic company probably should sponsor us. We'd wear them all over, but we
Yeah.
do require glitter paint on them and a color for each of us. So
Yeah.
you could note that down. Any mic company is watching.
Hmm. I get Matt, honestly, I could see you being one of those like influencer or like video people who like just runs up to people with your mini mic and like just says though the most unhinged shit and like it would be incredible. Like everyone would love you.
I watched that guy on TikTok that like sings at celebrities. I can never
Oh
think of
yeah.
his name. Absolutely kills me every time.
Yeah.
I'm either like, oh, I can't watch this one, or I'm just locked in.
Yeah.
But no, me with a mini mic, crazy.
Growing up, Matt, you kind of moved around a little bit or you've seen the Midwest, I would say, right? You kind of primarily stayed here because of your dad's work.
Yeah, my dad worked for the government. I was born in downtown Chicago and lived in South Loop when I was really little, and then we moved out to Aurora and then to Oswego, so way west suburbs, and then I went to high school outside of Indianapolis.
Love. Was that weird? So I lived in one town my whole life. So I don't know what it's like to move schools or move houses even really
Mhm.
throughout my life. So tell me a little bit about how that was and how
Yeah,
did you navigate
absolutely.
it?
I feel like when you're younger, like really young, it's not that difficult just because
Yeah.
nothing's as like deep.
Yeah.
But
You're nimble, you're flexible.
like it's not as crazy as so I think moving from Oswego to Aurora, they're right next to each other. It really wasn't crazy. Like my I could still see my best friend Kiki, not far away. I
Mhm.
think moving right towards the end of eighth grade, right before high school into Indianapolis was a much bigger change.
Mhm.
Just because I was going into kind of high school without a support group really, and like all my friends back home. And I think going into high school too is where your friends shift. You meet a lot of different people, and like you really start branching out and kind of starting to grow up even more. And I'm glad it happened. So I had all 4 years there. I'll say that. I think
Mhm.
it was a tough move moving into that, but not having to move like mid high school. I'm very
Yeah, like sophomore year or yeah, that would be hard.
But yeah, other than
Mm,
that, I feel like different like packing up all your stuff. I don't really have a super focused memory of the first two houses, really, just little bits and pieces.
mm.
But I'd say like most of like the memories are probably Indianapolis focused.
Yeah, that's like more of home for you, you feel like?
Yeah, my parents are back there, not in our old house. Crazy enough, so I was in school, my dad and my mom moved to Montreal, which it didn't really become like a second home for me just because I wasn't there as often, but
Hmm.
super fun to visit. But now their place just out of Indianapolis is great, and
Yeah.
I go down there to visit a lot. So
Yeah, close to you now, too easy to visit and everything.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I feel like Matt can make a friend with anyone or can make a friend anywhere. So do you feel like it's maybe because you had to flex that muscle a little bit growing up?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think too. I'm just a yapper.
Yeah.
I do like to talk. Probably gets me in trouble sometimes, but I was really involved in high school. I think just growing up, I was a really social kid, so
Hmm.
just
Did you get in trouble in class for talking?
not as much because when I was really young, I really liked following the rules. So I was too afraid to get in trouble for talking. But when I was allowed to talk, I was a hand raiser. Like
Mm.
I was going to answer the question. Um, I think I showed my yapping in ways that like more teacher pet vibes than
Non-destructive way. Oh, interesting. A teacher's pet.
I think if anything, the kids that were like not shutting up were making me mad, especially
Mm,
like the part of class I liked. So
hmm. Did you like school? Did you like learning?
absolutely, I was in all your little special track like reading and the little what are not, high school took some AP classes and stuff. And I feel like
Oh
too
my.
when you're in a bigger school and you have those classes, you just see that same group of kids
Hmm.
through your whole high school experience. English reading probably my favorite.
Hmm.
Love reading a book and getting to kind of dissect that in class. I think that's probably the thing I miss most about high school is like I could do a book club now, but it's still not necessarily the same level of kind of conversation sometimes
That's
about a
true.
book. Like you're not diving so deep into it always, but
Wait, I would never picture you in a book club meeting being the one who wants to stay focused on the book.
no, like I'm like, yeah, this is great wine, but I want to talk about the book.
We need to talk about the themes, the like the yeah, that's so funny, Matt. I really would not have pegged you for that person. I'm learning so much already.
Yeah, I know it's crazy.
I was also, I would never talk in class, even if I had my most best friend beside me, like they would try to talk to me and I would ignore them because I did not want to get in trouble. I did not want any like
No.
attention or focus on me and I didn't want to get yelled at. So yeah, very much like the rule follower too. And I could like hang in class, but I was not great at school or it was hard for me. So like learning I kind of tuned out on and I liked to read, but I didn't like to read what people were telling me to read and at
Mm,
that pace. I felt like for school, like especially high school, I'm thinking it was like read 50 pages each night. And I was just like, no. I want to read on my own time. If you told me to finish this book by a certain date, I could probably do it, but keeping up with the homework, like I don't know, things like that. So I
yeah.
feel look like I was probably a really good student, but I wasn't.
No, I think like math was not my strong suit, but reading, everything else, I liked science, not chemistry. Oh my God, really screw
Yes.
chemistry.
Yeah.
Not a good one for me. But I was really involved in a lot of things in high school and got to meet a lot of cool people and overall a good time.
Look at you go. And then you went to IU, and I feel like you had the best time in college. I feel like you really enjoyed your college experience.
I did. I love Bloomington. I love IU. I love all my friends from there. It was the point too of my life where like I got there and I realized like wow you don't have to be involved in everything anymore and you can really kind of hone in on what you really like to do which for some time was going out
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I
with
mean,
my
hey, you have
friends
a whole new world. Yeah.
but Bloomington if you haven't been is one of those just like perfect college town vibe you know you they got the nature the woods surrounding it a beautiful campus a lot of great bars and restaurants I think Bloomington has the most ethnic restaurants in the state of Indiana, which was also
Hmm.
great. So there's a ton
Mm-hmm.
of cuisines and things to try. Yeah, I love IU.
Oh my God. I've never been to IU, never visited there or anything. It's a huge Big Ten school. Were you looking at any other schools, or was IU always maybe a top choice for you?
No, yeah, funny enough, I wanted out of Indiana.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna go off. Now, paying my student loans that I do have, I'm thanking myself for not going as crazy as I was thinking. I
Mm-hmm.
think I maybe was a little naive, like junior year in some of the colleges I was setting my sights to. Like, I was not going to go to Columbia. I was not going to
Yeah.
get into Columbia. I was not going to
Mm-hmm.
get into Yale.
Yeah.
All these like Ivies or like super small private schools that were on my list. Like, it was just not realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some big contenders like Washington. I wanted to be out there, UW.
Mm-hmm.
Looked at UW Madison as well, up in Wisconsin. I really almost ended up at University of Denver.
Oh.
University, I can't remember which one, but it's a private school in downtown
Mm-hmm.
Denver. But with the scholarship I got, and I toured twice, which
Mm-hmm.
was crazy because I was like honestly locked in for it, but
Yeah.
was trimesters and not
Mm-hmm.
semesters, and the price was by trimester, so my scholarship
Yeah.
was
Huh.
not gonna kick it.
Yeah.
So
No.
I ended up also being really focused on business. I started off wanting to study finance, and so when it really came down to it, and I looked at all the options I had, I used Kelly School of Business was ranked very high at the time, and it did not make sense to me to go pay all this money to go to a school that was not ranked as high when I could go to one in state.
Mm-hmm.
I knew people at already, and that kind of sealed the deal.
Yeah, it is so funny, like what we set our minds to, especially junior, senior year, when you're really trying to pull that like story and fantasize what your life could actually maybe be like. I thought I was going to UCLA. I never toured or anything, but I was like, I love UCLA. I love USC. Like I'm a California girl. Never toured. I
Mm.
don't think I even applied.
I think
But
like, I thought I was gonna go to UC Berkeley. That was another one.
mhm. Mhm. Yeah. No, Audrey, like you have a solid B average. No, it's not happening. So yeah, you maybe have to that Delulu, we love it, but you figure it out and you see where you fit in and kind of go from there.
Absolutely.
It's so crazy. And then did you always want to move to Chicago, or you also have kind of a interesting story your first few months here
Mm.
did not go as planned.
I knew that like one of the biggest things I love about Chicago is there is a great gay scene. You have,
Yeah.
a ton of bars. It's a very friendly city, and it's right on Lake Michigan. And I'm a Midwestern boy through and through. I love a good lake, and Lake Michigan's one of the best. But it wasn't always going to be Chicago. I think in a different life, if or a different timeline, maybe if COVID-19 didn't hit my senior year of college, I there's a very real possibility I would have ended up in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I was already fully on the advertising train, and I knew that like the size of the clients I wanted to work on were either going to be in New York, Chicago, or probably LA. And I was like, well, like maybe take the jump and go to New York first. But I think everything it worked out the way it should have, I think, or the
Mm-hmm.
way that in a way that I'm thankful for because I did not have to sell my soul to afford rent as a
Yeah.
first year advertising associate. You don't make a lot of money your first year
Mhm.
advertising, and I think New York would have been tough budget wise. Yeah, Chicago. I mean, that's great. I'm still here. Still.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine if you went to New York. Like, I mean, if you came back here, I'm sure we would have found each other
Yeah.
in Chicago. But it's so crazy to hear how everyone got here and what could have gone so different. Yeah, I think things always work out how they're supposed to, but it's again like where your mind goes, you're like, I'm so set on this, and then it
Um,
is totally something different and it's maybe better and you.
Yeah,
just like
definitely.
find out.
I think too there was times where it got to the point where it was like if I get a job here or I get a job in Indy, like it's really I'm just gonna go where I get the job.
Yeah.
But yeah, it worked out.
So COVID hit during your senior year. I feel so old every time I say this because I said it to Gretchen too. But like I was 3 years post grad. So I had this whole like, living in downtown Cincinnati. I could still go out after work. I had my full kind of like post grad life and then COVID hit. So for me, honestly, it couldn't have been perfect timing in my opinion, like for my life.
Absolutely.
But how crazy was that to try to finish out senior year with COVID? IU is very much that traditional kind of college. So not going to those
Mhm.
classes, not going out like that, or just being that's crazy. It's not like going to a Loyola or NYU or something like that where you kind of already don't know a ton of your classmates or something. So I imagine it was much different for folks in those kind of scenarios.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was skiing with my family in Quebec City, seeing my parents. And I'm looking at my dad like, I don't know, like the news is a little crazy. I think I might have to fly back early. He's like, no, no. And then he's like, okay, you're gonna fly back early the next day. So I got back and pretty much I had called my friends to be like, hey, buy vodka, goldfish, all the things I could think of. Like there's gonna be a run on the grocery store, and stuff. But I don't think anything really prepares you to come back, and nobody knew. We thought it was gonna be a short, potentially just a couple weeks, and then we'd be back up and running. But the extent and it's just crazy. So I think it was just very different. You kind of had to stick to a much closer friend group circle to avoid getting COVID, and then we didn't walk for graduation. We didn't do any of the like big traditions and things that make, part of the things that make IU so special. And
Hmm.
that was a bummer. I think that probably it didn't feel like the door had closed on college for a while,
Yeah.
just because like it just didn't seem over. Classes were online, they finished most of them. It was just not much
Yeah.
to do in them online, but job offers were being pulled left and right. So my
Hmm.
initial offer was take rescinded. And so I was like, great. I can't go home to Canada. The border's
Yeah.
closed. And
Yeah.
I am not sure what I want to do. And nowhere's hiring. So
Hmm.
I took the summer, stayed with some friends, and then eventually moved to the city. And I was lucky enough to ride out some savings I had from working through college and such. And then when that was getting low, I was like, shoot, okay, I gotta get a job. And
Yeah.
this is crazy. You're gonna die. I don't know if you know the TJ Maxx lore, but I became an associate at TJ Maxx, which at the time I was so mad because I've worked since I was 16. I have been
Hmm.
a shift lead, managed a staff of about 25 at a restaurant, and I was just like, great, like, can you hire me on as like one of your front of like not front of house
Hmm.
retail store, but like one of your supervisors or something? They're like, no.
Yeah.
So I took the job because it was right around the corner from my little studio, and every day I'd just come home, apply to more jobs, and I go to my job. But I was getting people through the line too fast,
Hmm.
and they really pushed you to sell these credit cards. And
Hmm.
I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, well, what do I get if I
Yeah.
sell more of these credit cards? And they're like, more snacks in the break room, of course. My mouth is on the floor. I'm like, I think I laughed. I was like, really? And everybody
What an incentive. Yeah.
was like, great, more 69-cent ramen. Like, come on. And so I got removed from the registers because I was not selling enough credit cards and I was moving people through the line too fast. But like I'm used to a long line when I was a barista and you're just getting people through.
Hmm.
So they put me on the door. And I had to count the amount of people in the store during COVID-19 and ensure the people in line stayed 5 feet apart. And so I had to be like, ma'am, 5 feet back, please. Or, ma'am, I'm sorry, we are at capacity, so you'll need to wait. And people would get
Hmm.
mad. And I'd be like, you can either wait or you can not come in the store. I
Yeah.
bounced the TJ Maxx in Lincoln Park. Uh, it was it
You being
was
on
crazy.
Karen patrol.
Oh, literally insane. You
I
have the
can't.
masks below their nose, and for a while I was like, "What do I care? I'm making Chicago minimum wage in this
Yeah.
job." And then there's days where you came, and I was like, "No, I'm not having it today." I was like, "Above your nose, or get out." Like,
Hmm.
then other days I was just, but
Yeah.
crazy. I did that for a couple months, and then one of the jobs I applied to panned out.
Love. Thank God. So Matt loves to sometimes do his straight voice on us. Did you ever get to like straight voice Matt manning the lines?
No,
Or
like
like play with accents or anything? I feel like you could have fun with it if you wanted to.
thinking back on it, I probably could have had a lot more fun than I did. But it was just such a depressing
That's so true.
period of my life. Like I did not think that I was going to finish school and not have a job.
Hmm.
And even then, I just didn't think that's, the job that I was going to have for a while. I
Yeah.
thought I had kind of paid my dues in service before and was ready to take a step away from it. And I had a lot of funny coworkers, so we were pretty funny in the break room and things like that, or you'd get crazy customers, so we'd be laughing about that.
Hmm.
But nothing too crazy there.
The camaraderie at least, but everyone was so terrified. We're not so far away from it now, but far enough away now that we only remember a few highlights of it, but the vibe, it was so dark. No
Yeah.
no light at the end of the tunnel. It
Just
was not fun.
days, like what was that? Like
Yeah.
I when I finally got a job, some virtual happy hours where like I was like, why am I getting drunk in a Zoom call?
Yeah, literally. I saw something and I've been thinking about this I was driving home from the airport, coming home off of Lakeshore Drive, off to the Belmont exit. There's an AIDS memorial, and I remembered hearing something that we never had closure for COVID. Like in past, after World War II, World War I, things like that, there were always either memorial services or some sort of like community gathering of what took place, or there were statues that came, things like that. And we never had that with COVID. Our world has just changed so much because of it. And I wonder if we'd be any better if we had some sort of like community gathering or anything
It's
after COVID
interesting to
ended.
think about. I'm not sure if at this point it would just be so trivial or if it would
For sure.
actually provide some sort of closure. I think the closest thing I can think of is maybe we were invited to go walk with the next year's class. I didn't do
Mm,
it
mm-hmm.
because it didn't feel like closure for us.
Yeah.
Walking with a bunch,
Mhm.
it didn't give the same thing that I thought it would give, but I don't know. It's such a strange moment, an awful moment in time to think about, and I
Yeah. I have no idea, but who knows what could have
know,
been
right?
better? What was great that we did or
It's so
didn't do
weird
it?
because people never stopped getting it. We just started getting it less,
Yeah.
not as severe. So,
Mm-hmm.
is it like the pandemic's over? I wonder if the first year people had the flu, and the flu was really bad or something. If like they're all, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
fun to think about, huh?
Yeah. Or like some people were comfortable traveling at one point, but then other people still weren't. Or now so many people have long-term COVID. I feel like the quote end of it is
Yeah,
murky even still. So it's crazy.
strange. The funniest part about COVID to me was the all the companies selling masks. Like, why did I have a Lululemon piece of fabric on my face? Or
Yeah.
I think I had one that was shaped like someone smiling with like terrible braces.
Mm-hmm.
The funny ones came out. Then we all found out like later on that like all the fabric ones we were wearing were not
Yeah.
doing very much.
Yep.
Yeah, I just had this piece of fabric on my face all week. Let me wash it so I can wear it on my face all next week.
Literally.
Uh,
It's breaking me out, but thank God no one can see it. Like
I think that's the one thing I miss about masks is when my face was broken out, at least I could cover it.
Yeah. Yeah. There were some benefits. I feel like you are one of the more like authentic, like yourself, authentically yourself a lot of the time and like present. So do you feel that way, first of all, about yourself? And then do you have any like rituals or routines or things that you do just to kind of like keep you upbeat, grounded or like being present and having a good time and being yourself?
I think everybody has seasons in their life, and
Yeah.
there are many ups and downs. But I've been trying my hardest to kind of show up with a positive face when I can, because even if I'm going through something hard, it doesn't mean that everybody else isn't also. And it's a little bit easier on all of us if we could just throw a smile on when we can do it. And not to say that you also shouldn't feel okay to express your feelings and things with your friends and your family, which I think is a really important thing to do.
Mhm.
Just trying to show up and not lose that bit is probably something I try to do when I can. I think in terms of like some of the self-care that I try to do to make sure that I can show up that way. I love a bath. I will definitely take my time, curate the vibe, the tray, the candle, a glass of water, glass of wine, a snack, a book. You really pull out all the stops.
Mhm.
I really do also love like a Thai takeout, a rot on the couch day to recharge. I think it's so important to have something that you're able to kind of do and enjoy that you don't need to do with anybody else. So reading
Yeah.
is one of my big ones, and eating takeout is the other.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think it's hard to show up as yourself as often as we want to sometimes, and like there's so many factors that go into being able to show up authentically and like
Yeah.
safety and privilege
Mm.
and so many things. But I try to when I can.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And I feel like you always wanted to grow up and be the adult, have that autonomy, have that sort of thing. But now being here, I see why they said just enjoy it while you can, because I don't know if it's the bills to pay, the job, the like satisfaction of my choices or anxiety around so many different factors, but it is so hard to show up and be yourself or to like show up with that smile or bring in certain energies. I feel like we don't give enough credit because we just assume that it's easy to show up and be happy or something or be content and
Yeah.
it's really not.
Being an adult is hard, and I think
Yeah.
it took me a long time before it really clicked that like, you really do have that like switch flips on and off at some point. And you're like, wow, you're no longer a kid, but I think trying to like have some of that childlike joy and like things when you can are so important because being an adult is great. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to be a kid forever, but there are so many things that can go on and happen that you just wouldn't think about or couldn't even imagine. So I think trying to show up and be happy when you can is so important.
Mhm. For sure. Being an adult, not it's fun when I remember I have adult money and I can like buy the stupid thing or maybe buy Brenda a new dress or something. But there are so many things where I thought it'd be easier just to like be myself or be there for friends all the time and things, and it's not always as easy as it may seem.
I
So,
know it's crazy. I think too, like I think about a lot about like, graduating college in 2020. When before, if I were to go get an apartment here in the city 5, 6 years ago, or even God, that is 2020. If I were to go
yeah, I know like oh, quick math.
um, like pre-COVID, it was so much more affordable. And so I think the life I envisioned with the job I have now, and I'm very fortunate to be financially secure in a job that I enjoy in the city, but I do think a lot about cost and affording to be an adult and how hard it is to be responsible and save
Yeah.
money and also say no. I think that is the hardest part of being an adult
Yeah.
is like you don't see your friends all the time anymore. So when you do want to see them, like, oh, of course I want to go to that dinner or I want to come to
Mhm.
the hour, I want to go out on the weekend. Money, it's just so crazy how much being an adult revolves around what we can afford and can't.
Funds, yeah. Well, and it's crazy. Like, I mean, our parents, even people like 40s,
Yeah,
older 30s, the landscape was so different financially. They could work for however much, and they, of course, could be able to afford to buy a house by 30. Like, they were getting married, like, weddings. seemingly we're a lot more affordable just with inflation and with so many other different economic factors. We can't afford the amount of things that we, yeah, 10 years ago even were
Hmm.
supposed to afford. And it's hard to, we want to prioritize our mental health and have those things because that was the dream and that's what we wanted to have and still want. We're not in the environment to be able to do that, which is shitty. Like, help us out,
No
people.
shade. Come on. No, yeah, it's a harsh reality.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. But gross. Well, we clearly don't live in a dream world, Matt, and our reality is far from ideal or just the place that we wanted to be. So let's just step away for a few minutes. Imagine up a dream, an ideal situation. What would Matt's dream world look like? And you can really go out there for it. We could have purple skin. We could,
Oh,
I don't know, be flying, have some sort of magical powers. You love fantasy books. Maybe we're an
I
Akatar.
mean, I was gonna say that. Yeah, I was actually literally about to just say I probably would live in Akatar, but
No way.
maybe like the more future facing version where we probably have running toilets and water. I think that being a sexy fairy with a ton of powers would be so great, but I would love to be clean.
Yeah,
I read
love that.
Akatar, and the very wealthy, of course, did have these nice baths and things like that, but I'm still thinking on my head, there's no indoor plumbing.
Yeah.
This is not as sexy as it sounds.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. Hygiene's hot.
Gene is hot, people. Brush your teeth.
Go find some running water. Use a toilet.
But I do think like my ideal world, something where magic or something like that, and where it's like fair access, everybody has it too. Like I'm not into the whole like big caste system with all these
Yeah.
different levels. I think if everybody had it, it'd be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Look at you go. A little Akatar girly and like just living out her fantasy. That's fun. I haven't read Akatar. So like are we all fairies? Are we all like give us a little more details?
Absolutely. In the Akatar universe, there's people that are high fae that it seems to be maybe a little bit more human
Mm-hmm.
looking
Mm-hmm.
creatures, but come with some unique powers. Then the lesser fae that are not necessarily lesser in terms of power or anything like that, but realistically, they just were people that looked a little bit less human and had, I guess, different types of powers. Or not as powerful of power as the high fae. The more you read the series, you kind of realize that it's just a way for them to keep the masses down. But crazy. Not,
Yeah.
not much unlike what goes on in our histories, but the powers are interesting. I mean, you've got people that can pull in darkness, control water, fire. I love elemental moment. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pick like an elemental magic. I probably would pick water.
Really?
Hmm.
Okay.
I love a water moment.
Yeah.
So excited to live by the lake again, so I can be down at the Belmont Steps as frequent as I can this summer.
Yeah.
Any body of water. I'm
You
trying
and Brenda take the water.
to.
I love it. Okay. I'm down with that. I feel like Akatar, it's giving me a little like astrology girly.
Yeah, I do think it has that like undertone vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, it really brought everybody back in to fantasy, like, and yeah, smut universe.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
Yeah.
fantasy specifically, and as well as like fantasy smut, like was not as popularized as it has been since the release of
Mm-mm.
Avatar. And I think you see that with other like books that come out and kind of reshape the interests and things of kind of a generation and things like
Yeah.
that. I think Harry Potter was a huge cultural moment, Lord of the Rings,
Mm-hmm.
books like that, like some of our huge cinematic universe series that have come out as well. But Akatar, we'll see. Also, I think they're making it into a TV show or a movie,
I hope they do.
which I need it, but I don't want it. Like, but I want
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, I give Twilight like all the credit for me starting to read and like actually enjoy books for fun. Yeah, I think that yeah, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, ACOTAR's getting a whole new wave of people interested in reading or into a whole new other
Absolutely.
universe.
And I think like get some hate for being people like, oh, you're just
Yeah.
reading fairy porn. And yeah, there are they are the fairies are fucking, but
Yeah.
there's so much more to it. And anything that gets
Yeah.
people reignited to reading, I think is important and a great
Yeah.
thing. Growing up, I was one of those kids that would go to the library and leave with 9 books, and my mom would
So
just
cute.
frequently have to take me to the library so I could read more. And now, as an adult, I need to stop myself from buying books. That's my
Hmm.
crux. I do use the big shout out Chicago Public Libraries, huge resource for our
Yeah.
city. I think it's potentially the second largest library system in the U.S. So,
Incredible.
reading is good, people.
Yeah, seriously. I know. I think in my dream world maybe has a reading component to it that more and more people could just escape into these books. I saw a TikTok like a week or two ago where it was Logan Yuri, a huge dating coach, and she was like one of the biggest green flags is guys who read fiction because they can escape into the whole different world and see things through different lenses. And now that's like the biggest green flag. I agree. I want that. But I think it's so cool when people read or they have other interests like that too, because it is fun just to hear
Absolutely.
other people's experiences and
And
shit.
not everybody reads the same thing and thinks of it the same way. Like, there's just
Yeah.
so many different ways people can react to literature, and it's fascinating.
Yeah. I'm in a book club, but I'm kind of there to talk about the book for like 20 minutes and then to hear what everyone else is doing. I'm not the like making sure we stay on topic. But it is so interesting to hear what people pick up from the books or what lines really resonate with them, what
Mhm.
plots of the story really resonate because it may not be the huge main things that like happen, and it is so fun to compare notes when reading.
No, absolutely. And I think my favorite too is people absolutely hate someone in the book. You might absolutely love them.
Yeah.
You're gonna beef that way. So
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's the best. It's so fun. Yeah. Reading's cool. But no, I think my dream world, I feel like always these conversations really give a perspective on what I would think my dream world would be. I'm on a big kick right now of 30-hour work weeks. I think that would be, we do so much more work now than we ever could have imagined we were doing. Internets all the time, we're accessible all the time. Like, give us a 30-hour work week.
absolutely. Or I think even just the flexibility, like if I work more Monday, let's say I'm just locked in. I'm gonna work
Hmm.
10, 12 hours on a Monday because I just have the extra time that day. Then tomorrow I'm gonna work less
Hmm.
because I already worked more. Like I want it
Yeah.
capped.
Hmm.
Yes. If we have to keep the 40 hours, then I want the flexibility and the autonomy to work when matters. Sure, protects a couple meeting hour times for like
Hmm.
3, 4 hours in the morning a day. But I think flexibility would be a
Yeah.
part of my ideal world for sure. I thought at first my ideal world maybe would be where no one has to work.
Mm.
But then like how does that work? Because then who's doing everything? And I was like, and I don't want AI to take over. And then I had to have a whole doom spiral about
Yeah.
AI. So my ideal world, I guess everybody still works, just
Yeah.
reduced.
Well, I was a part of a reduction during COVID. And let's keep in mind, yeah, COVID, there was you couldn't do anything, so maybe my perspective would change now. Matt, 48 hours in, I was the most bored person. Everyone in my house was yelling at me. They were like, "Audrey, you have to find something. You are ruining our lives. Like this is not good for anyone. You need to be productive." So I agree. Like I think it would be great if I just want people in dream worlds to love their jobs, to like actually be doing something that they're fulfilled by. Maybe it's not your perfect job. Like I think to some degree, nothing could ever be perfect or great all the time, but at least you're genuinely passionate about it or
Yeah.
content with it. But I think without work, like what would we be doing? Scrolling, watching TV, reading? Not bad, but I need like to be productive with my life,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I agree. I mean, I don't even know like if I was super rich, I feel like I'd still want like maybe I'd become one of those New York City rich wives that's involved with all the foundations and things.
Hmm.
Just something though. Like, how do you be fulfilled in your day?
We can't live in that dream world, unfortunately. So, to maybe soften the blow, to ease back into reality, is there a small win that you've recently have or something that you are proud of yourself for stepping up and doing? Maybe it's a little different or outside of your day-to-day routine or just something you were really proud of doing that.
Okay, absolutely. My biggest small win lately is actually keeping up on my dishes. So
Love, good for you.
one of the downfalls of my new apartment is it does not have a dishwasher. And in the moment, I thought, yes, it's fine. I am a go-getter. I am gonna do these dishes. I fucking hate doing the dishes.
Yeah.
I, there's a lot of things cleaning wise I enjoy. Like, strangely enough, I do like cleaning my bathroom, making it all nice and clean.
Hmm.
Don't mind mopping. When it comes to doing the dishes, I, I don't like touching the food. I don't
Yeah.
want everything soggy. I gotta pull out the gloves, like lock
Hmm.
them and get it done. But when I moved in here and I saw, that I didn't have a dishwasher, I told myself, you really need to get into the habit of at the end of the day, there's no more dishes. Or if you're gonna go out for the night, do the dishes before you go. Like, do not let these dishes pile up. There's also
Hmm.
not a lot of
Yeah.
place for them to dry. But I've been keeping up with it, and it's been pretty fulfilling,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
It is okay. I'm in the same situation. I also do not have a dishwasher and I have a small kitchen. So you can tell if the dishes are piling up. And yeah, it's like hard to do the dishes. It's not an easy feat, what you're saying. It's small, but it's hard. And I love that you've been keeping up with it. It's a great feeling to like have that clean kitchen, to know your dishes are done. For me, it's prioritizing like my future self. I'm like, oh, that's like one less thing for her to do. It'll be great when I wake up tomorrow and like it's done. Like it will feel nice. It'll feel great. So I don't know if that's how you think about it too, but I like to think about it like that. And like future self will really love that I did this.
No, definitely. And I think there's literally so little kitchen space in my kitchen that I have a electric stove top, and so once I like cook, then I let it cool down, and then if I do the dishes, I usually put a towel down, and the rack just sits on top of
Hmm.
the stove.
Hmm.
So it's also motivation, like, well, if I don't do them and put them away when I get up, I can't cook.
Yeah.
So
Or it's an excuse for takeout.
exactly, and I gotta dial it back. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love that. Good job, Matt. Proud of you. Yay. I feel like I haven't seen you in so long. It's been good to just catch up and like learn more about you. I love these interviews, people, because I get to hear about things in their life that, let's be honest, in a group out, we talk over each other or someone else will chime in with a different story. So it's great to have
exactly.
this one-on-one time.
No, this has been so great. I agree. I know.
Oh my God.
We'll have to get together soon. This was so much fun.
Yay. Thanks for coming and supporting me.
Of course.
Thanks for tuning in to Matt's World. I hope you loved getting to know him. I truly would have never guessed that he was a little teacher's pet, and I just find that to be the most adorable, cute thing now about Matt. There was already so many lovable things, and now somehow that might take the cake. Crazy. I hope you enjoyed our laughs, our giggles throughout it all. But clearly, every time I'm with Matt, there's giggles, there's laughter. It's always a good time. But, he's human too. I loved that he was open and shared more, being present, being his authentic self all the time. It can be a struggle, even though that's who he presents to be often. That he's human as well, and not just an Energizer bunny with an on-off switch for that sort of thing. So thanks, Matt, for sharing that side of you and opening up a bit more as well. If you liked this episode and like this podcast, well, it's your lucky day. I'll be back again next Tuesday. But if you're really dying to listen to me, hear me, see me, guess what? I'm on social media. Check it out. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Oddrey's World, spelled just like it is on the podcast. and you can find some behind the scenes, get to know me a little bit more, and even find some podcast clips there. But you can share the word about the podcast to your friends, family members, loved ones, colleagues. Tell them about the podcasts. Have them search my name, click on the podcast. I'm on Spotify, I'm on Apple, I'm wherever you can find podcasts. So that only helps to spread the word and get some more attention to this. Of course, you can like, rate, subscribe, comment, all of that sort of thing wherever you listen, and that also helps. So thanks for all that you do. I will see you again next week. Thanks for tuning in. Love ya. Bye.